Are you ready to dominate? Because it's time. From Philly to Vegas, Canada to Peru, and everywhere in between. It's time for the podcast that makes the offseason suck a hell of a lot less. From the creators of Dynasty Depot, the internet's only live auction site for Dynasty fantasy football teams. Here's your hosts, Nelson Verbit and Rick Taylor.
Of the Dynasty Depot crew live in Las Vegas. As my friend Brent Musburger said, you are looking live, and welcome to Dynasty Depot live-ish from the beautiful Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas. I am joined today, as always, to my right, or maybe left because I can't really tell, the wonderful fantasy Heather. How are you, Heather?
I'm great.
Are you? How you feeling today, Heather?
I feel really good.
Are you? And you look great, because you did not look so great last night, but we'll get into that later.
I should probably have some sunglasses on.
And also, from the extremely hungover squad, my partner and my buddy Rick Taylor. How are you, Rick?
Doing great. Feeling good.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
I don't believe anything you say, because the last thing I saw of you was not pretty last night. We have a very special guest today. One of my business partners and my main event drafter today. We're going to talk a little bit about the main event, Mr. Jesse Cutler. Hello, Jesse.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. This has always been a dream of mine to be on this show.
You know what? And we're really excited that we can fulfill your dreams. We do have a little Make-A-Wish in us, and that's how we're going to do it. We have Jesse. So let's get into it a little bit. Jess, so we just drafted main event there. Any monster surprises that you saw?
No really big surprises. I mean, we did see an earlier draft today, Ezekiel Elliott going at pick 3-1, but we did go a little earlier in our draft. So
that's 3-1 was a little crazy. You went 2-2 in our draft. So Rick, what's your thoughts about that when you get into these drafts, right? And obviously everything is skewed by the Thursday night game, which we all know, right? So the people that went off last night, Antonio Brown moves from round 8 to round 3-4. Amari Cooper goes from round 4 to round 2. But I guess the biggest thing is Zeke. The FFPC main event runs 12 weeks, so people didn't want the 5 points from Zeke. And for those of you who don't know this out here, you draft a player, you also draft the points. So Zeke at 5 points was going 5th, 6th in round 1 yesterday, and today he's going anywhere from middle of the 2nd to 3rd. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's an opportunity to get the value because, everybody overreacts to the first week. It's happened years past. You're drafting the points or not drafting because they didn't score a lot. But if I was drafting right now, I'd see it as a great opportunity to get him against a full round later.
Well, I think, and this year, because the NFL goes to week 7, there's 17 weeks now, so it also extended the FFPC season to 12 weeks. So you really have a chance to get, a premium player there, but you are putting yourself in jeopardy. Week 1, you really can't start him, right?
Right. I think you have to make a different plan and draft somebody else. Not plan on starting him. At least you know ahead of time that he's not going to be in your lineup.
I agree. Jess, so let's talk about our draft a little bit today. We come out of the 9 hole today, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and out of our first 4 picks, we come out with Aaron Jones, Ridley, Montgomery, and Sanders. We really got stuck a little bit on the Sanders pick because the running backs really dry up after that, and we weren't going to get it back around again, so we end up taking Sanders. What's your thought about having him as your RB3?
I think we were looking to take Chris Carson, who went right before, but Sanders is a good running back 3. He's not our 2. He's got potential upside. It's not the worst pick in the world. Having, Aaron Jones, having David Montgomery, these 3 down running backs, makes me feel fine about having Sanders as our 3.
It was okay, and I think what really made our draft is we got Patrick Mahomes at 5.9, which is as late as I've seen him. He was going in the middle of the thirds, beginning of the thirds, and all the other drafts out here. He's sitting there at 5.9, and then we come back with a guy that we've been targeting a lot is Mike Davis, right? So, I mean, I'm pretty high on Mike Davis. What's your thoughts there?
I really like Mike Davis. I mean, he was great last year. If we can get that out of him, it's a home run.
Right. What's your thoughts, Ricky, on Mike Davis this year?
I like him. He's getting up there in age, but I agree. He puts a season together like last year. He won people a lot of leagues, so I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, and most importantly, Heather, what's your thoughts on Mike Davis this year?
Yeah, exactly what Rick said.
Is it? That's it.
It does make me question why I'm on this show.
You know what? You're on this show for a reason, because we can't do the show. We don't know how to work all these plugs without you, so we have to put you on the show.
I know, I bring such valuable content. I know.
So,
Hey, Nils.
yeah, Rick.
Tell me about what did Godwin do from yesterday to today after the game last night?
Okay, so
Stay the same.
you know what? He kind of did. He was kind of a surprise. All right, so he ends up going 4-12, and he's been going 4-3, 4-4. He actually went later, putting up 20-some points last night. We had the choice there of getting a running back or taking Godwin, and we discussed it a lot. But we were definitely afraid of the running back dry up, and which really happened. So our strategy was, let's get 4 good backs and let everybody else struggle, and that'll push some people down the board to us, which ended up happening. We went real strong. So let me ask you guys about another player here, because this guy was our 7th round pick, and our 7th and 8th round picks I believe are going to make or break this team. In the 7th round, and we did just confirm he got a full bill of health, been practicing. Kenny Golladay is good to go on Sunday. In the 7th round, I mean, it's a hit or miss. If he's going to be on the IR, it's a problem. But if he's on the field, he's a weapon.
Yeah, I actually didn't realize he was cleared. When I saw him on the draft board, I thought that's a little bit of a sketchy pick. So
No, he was cleared. I always check my information before we make that pick. And then just 8th round, we got our guy. We were hoping Devontae Smith would last there. Listen, man, Hurts got to throw the ball to somebody, and they got nobody to throw to there. And this guy could flat out ball. I'm pretty excited about having him on the team.
I mean, it's not even a homer pick at that point, because this guy's going to be the rookie of the year.
He definitely could be.
this sounds eerily similar to a Jalen Raggett discussion we had a year ago.
You're talking about a Heisman Trophy candidate or some guy that, plays in Texas that everybody thought got drafted about a round too high. Yeah. So I don't think we're talking the same pedigree of player here. Devontae Smith, Heather, you like him, right?
Love him.
Tell me why you like him, because he's from Philly, right?
Because he's from Philly.
Right. You are, Heather, you are a plethora of information today. And
you should at least give me note cards or something.
you don't need note cards because you couldn't read them anyway. Your eyes are so swollen from last night still.
It's been a rough day, I'm not going to lie.
But you made it through it, Heather. You're a
We made
trooper.
it through.
So, Rick, what else you thinking here about this weekend? You excited? That was a great game last night. Unfortunately, we didn't see a lot of it. We were busy doing what we do. But NFL season kicked off last night. We got full slate of games Sunday. We will be at Circus Sports Sunday watching these games from the big booth in the middle of the casino, which is very, very exciting. What are you thinking about this weekend? High-scoring games, low-scoring games. There's some great matchups this weekend.
Yeah, I expected the first game too, the defenses to be more dominant. I thought the offenses would take a little while to catch up, not playing a lot in the preseason. So I would have said low scoring, but after what I saw last night, I'm going to have to change that.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously some great matchups. Jess, what you thinking about this weekend? You excited? What you looking at? What you looking for this weekend?
I expect a lot of points, a lot of scoring. I really do. There's a couple games that I have marked down that I just see over. I'm looking at that Pittsburgh-Buffalo game, and I just see scoring happening in that game.
It's great because what we do have, we've got a Brett coming on in a few minutes with us, and he's going to discuss not only the season totals for these teams, he's also going to be discussing and giving out his picks for this weekend. And nobody does research like Borgata Brett. I mean, there's nobody better at this, and we're excited. And we'll get him in here in a couple minutes, and we'll talk about these games. It should be really interesting to see what he has to say. See, I was like you, Rick. I'm figuring on tighter defensive battles this weekend because, geez, I mean, the starters hardly played in preseason this year.
Yeah, I agree. It didn't matter last night though, right?
No, they came out firing.
Yeah, like I couldn't believe Dak. We put up over 400.
Yeah.
Hasn't played.
And that's a good Tampa Bay defense.
Right.
That's a good Tampa Bay defense. No, Dallas definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. They're going to be able to put up points at will. And, their defense caused, 3 turnovers last night. And, I think their defense is actually a little underrated, especially playing in the NFC East against the Eagles, Giants, Redskins. You don't have any juggernaut offenses there. I think Dallas defense can be a sneaky play.
Yeah, I agree. The conference division really helps.
It does. So,
You need
Jeff,
to get Borgata Bread on here soon.
yeah, I know,
He's
because
killing me.
I'm not sure if he has to go to the bathroom or what. So we're going to kick Jess out. Hey, Jess, thanks for coming on board today.
Thank you. I just want to say one thing.
You got whatever you're going to say, you
Jarwin-
better say it louder.
Like Jarwin, just you fall forward next time. We just needed 1 yard.
Yeah, so we had a little wager on Jarwin over 20 and a half yards. And, of course, he put up 20 even, and it fell under. He did not fall forward on one of his catches, and it cost us a few bucks, but it's fine. Jess, thanks for coming on board. Let's
Thank
get
you so
Borgata
much,
Brett
guys.
here.
See you, Jess.
Let's start
Bye,
talking
Jess.
about what's going on this Sunday.
Oh, man.
Very rarely do you get Borgata Brett live.
Live.
Right, you usually get him from his house with his bookcases and all the other crap going on there.
Yeah, a little guitar in the corner.
Here he is, Borgata Brett, welcome.
I flew all the way out here. I should have my own seat. I mean, I shouldn't have to
Oh, God, he's been on for 1
Well-
second.
wait
He's
in the
doing nothing
green
but
room the whole
complain.
time.
Well, who the hell knew that Rick would show up today? I mean, he's almost like a surprise guest, Heather. What do you think?
It's good to have you back, Rick.
Yep.
It's been a while. The whole gang's here. This is the OG crew right here.
It
That's
is. It is.
OG.
It's awesome. So, Brett,
Yes.
first of all, thanks. You got us into circa millions, which is exciting.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to have an entry in the Circa Millions. That's where you have to pick 5 games each week against the spread. And we're also going to have 3 teams in the Survivor pool. Everybody knows how Survivor works. You pick 1 team each week, can't use them again. Just have to win straight up. It sounds a lot easier than it actually is. So we'll have 3 teams. You can follow us on Twitter, and we'll be putting the picks out as we go through the season. And hopefully we make a deep run in the Survivor pool. That's a guaranteed $6 million. And the Circa Millions is a guaranteed $4 million. So it should be exciting, and we're looking forward to playing this year for the first time.
Where can everybody follow these picks on Twitter?
At Borgata Brett. There's plenty of room for more followers. I'm just going to put it that way. But we're just getting started. Anyway, so I have a couple things.
So, like, when people say, you get the big guys, right? The big guys, hey, like, how many followers you got? 4. You figure 4 million. Brett
Right.
puts up 5.
Literally 5.
It's 5. It's literally 5.
He says 11. You should check it. It could be
Hey,
more now.
hey, listen.
You could have gotten a lot of followers.
Listen, all it is hit a little follow button. You want to win, you got to follow this guy.
I
You know?
gave out some very good picks for the Super Bowl. We cashed
did.
on
We
a
cashed.
lot of the bets.
Yep.
So,
All
anyway.
right, let's get down. So let's talk gambling, because that's what we do.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk gambling. Over under win totals for the season. Now we know who's hurt now. We know who's not playing. We know who's IR'd. The totals have been adjusted. The season's kicking off this week. Talk to me.
All right. So I have five season win totals that I'm playing.
Okay.
So I'm not running through all 32. Nobody cares. So here's the 5 best that I have. The thing that you need to know about the win totals is it's not an even money bet. Sometimes you got to lay juice. Sometimes you're
Correct.
betting odds.
Correct.
So I like Carolina over 7.5 wins. That's minus 120. I like Buffalo under 11 wins. That's plus 105. Minnesota under 9 wins. It's minus 138. Philly over 7 plus 116. And Jacksonville, under 6.5, minus 150. Now, here's what you need to know about Jacksonville. In the history of number one picks, quarterbacks, number one picks, there's been a huge trend of going under the season win totals.
Jacksonville's over-under is?
It's 6.5. They won 4 games last year, I believe.
Right.
So it's under 6.5, minus 150, and on DraftKings, there's alternate season win totals. You can bet them under 5 plus 220. So I'm going to play both of those.
Okay.
There's one futures bet I like, 2 futures bets I like. I like San Francisco to win the NFC plus 650, so 6.5 to 1. And I like San Francisco to win the Super Bowl plus 1,400 at 14 to 1. I also like Kyle Pitts. Okay, I'm talking to fantasy people, so everybody knows who Kyle Pitts is.
We do.
I like him as the offensive rookie of the year at plus 1,000, so at 10 to 1. I like him at offensive player of the year at 50 to 1. And I like him for the most receiving TDs at 35 to 1. Those are all off of DraftKings.
That's great numbers. Go back to, I want to ask you a question here.
Yes.
Let's see if Rick, what were we talking about? San Francisco. Okay, people have short-term memory, right? So you think what happened last year, right? Blah, blah, blah. Well, I think at one time they had 14 starters not playing for a period of time last year.
They got hit by injuries, and they got hit by COVID last year.
Right.
So they had both problems.
Right.
And a couple years ago, they were a couple plays away from maybe winning the Super Bowl.
Correct. Now they got some quarterback stuff going on there, but I guess that'll all work out, and a lot of that's going to come down to once Trey Lance is inserted as the full-time starter, what he's going to do. What do you think about the Niners, Rick?
Yeah. Do you think having a rookie quarterback come in could win the Super Bowl? That doesn't worry you on that bet there, Brett?
Well, he's not starting the season, is he?
No.
He is not.
Okay. So if Jimmy G does well, and he's going to be the quarterback,
Okay.
Right.
I mean, look, that's why you're getting those odds.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that team to me, and I really like them, that team to me looks like an NFC version of Baltimore, right? They run the ball, quarterback plays whatever, defense is rough, and, that goes a long way once you get into January.
Right. I think if Jimmy G stays quarterback and he's, more of a game manager, it's kind of just a quarterback. But I think I agree with you. Lance comes in, that means they're having problems, and it's going to go sideways.
Right.
All right. So, and I have a couple picks for Week 1.
Okay.
So these are going to be my 5 picks in the Circa Millions.
Okay.
All right. I'll give them. They're in no particular order. So number 1, I like Atlanta -3. Atlanta is 13-3 against the spread in their last 16 first home games. Okay. Last year, they lost 7 games by 1 score. I think they lost 2 games by 1 point. So they were in every game, even though they basically had a lame duck coach.
Right.
So that means the players want to play. And they were 7-9 against the spread last year, even though they didn't win a lot of games. So that's one pick. I like Seattle -3. Indy is 1-10 in their first game of the season. In the last 11
Yeah,
games.
that quarterback there, he's not very good.
Well,
by
you're
the way.
down on Carson Wentz.
I am
but
extremely down on him. I've been telling you this for 3 years, dude, and then finally it reared its ugly head, and you became a believer.
You know what? I learned something once again. You're always right, Nelson.
Thank you. 3 years.
I think Lauren tells you that all the time, too.
Yeah.
I like the Washington football team -1. I like San Francisco -7.5. And my best bet of the weekend is Baltimore -4 against the Las Vegas Raiders.
I will be at that game, Brett.
I know you will.
I will.
Baltimore is 11-4 against the spread in the last 15 games they played against the Raiders. And Lamar on the road is 12-3-2 against the spread.
Wow.
He's a better quarterback on the road than he is at home. And there's a bonus pick, which is not going to be part of the Circa Millions because it's a total. But I love the under 51 in the Monday night game. I know everybody thinks there's going to be 1 million points in that game. When the road team is a favorite on Monday night, so the road team is the favorite on Monday night, and the total is over 50, the under is covered 19 of the last 22 times. So 19-3 against the spread on Monday night when the total's over 50 and the road team is the favorite.
That is a big number, man. Yeah, people love the over in that game. It's going to be rowdy out in Vegas, and it's going to be a lot of points. Lamar in town, and everybody's banging the over on that game.
All right, that's all I got for you.
That's it.
That's
Brett,
it.
that was really good. You really came prepared. You had really good information. I'm really impressed.
I spoke up into the microphone.
Did
I
a really
everything.
great job.
You did.
Yes.
Now, Rick, I'm sure has some questions for you here because he's asked, were we going to bet this weekend? Blah, blah, blah. I said, I don't do anything until Borgata Brett tells me what to do. Any of those picks jump out at you, Rick?
Actually, I wanted to ask him about the Pittsburgh game, Pittsburgh-Buffalo. What do you think of that game, Brett?
I know a lot of people are gonna lean towards Buffalo in the survivor pool. I'm not gonna lean that way. You don't know who you're gonna get with Pittsburgh because they really didn't. You know they didn't play well last year, especially down the stretch. So I don't really have an opinion on that game. But if I had to bet that game, I guess I would take Buffalo minus the points.
Okay.
But it's only 4. I think it's 4.
No, I think it's 4 or 5.
4 or 5, yeah. So I don't know. I think I would think that line looks a little fishy to me.
So go back to your totals, Brett.
Yes.
Okay. What jumped out at me when you said, and you like Buffalo under 11, was there a trend? Was there something? Because they don't look like they can be stopped, until the AFC Championship game, to me. If they're healthy, they're loaded.
They are. But, it's not so easy to get back there. And I think that 11 is a number. That's going to be, they got to win 12 games for you to lose the bet, right? So if they win 11 games, it's
Okay,
tied.
but you got to also remember there's an extra game this year.
I know.
So it's not like
It's
the
12 and
old
5.
11, right?
Yeah.
So it's 12 and 5, which you got their schedule. You could see.
Yeah, I mean they play the Jets twice. I mean, look, it's not the hardest schedule that out there, but I just think everybody's a little high on Buffalo, so that's why I'm going the other way.
You
now.
go the other way.
Yeah.
When you're gonna zig, Borgata Brett zags. Okay, and that's what makes him that. We're just the schmucks that go into the sports book all the time. We don't know what we're doing. I love Pittsburgh. Rick walks in. I love Pittsburgh this week. You love Pittsburgh every week, dude. Okay, that's what you do. You bet with your heart when you're not a professional like Borgata Brett. He brings you the hard facts of what's going on, and he brings the number to support it. That under bet on Monday night, 19 out of the last 22 road favorites. Road favorites on Monday night with a total of over 50
50 or higher, yeah.
or higher. See, I was paying attention because I said it all
It's hard
correctly.
to pay attention.
Right. That number is tough to go bang it, right?
Yeah.
We're going under Monday night.
We are.
But Rick's the kind of guy that will go over on Monday night, even if Brett just laid it all out.
Well, everybody bets on Monday night. Everybody bets the favorite and over, and that's what everybody bets. And they bet it in a parlay, and then they tease it, and so
Right.
You know what?
It's not fun to root for an under.
Right. It's not. It's not. I'm sitting here and I'm trying to talk football and sitting here with my crew and my friends, but one thing keeps popping in my head right now.
What?
That I'm sitting in between the only 2 Philadelphia Flyers fans in the United States, and I am in between 2 Flyers. Nobody gives a shit about hockey
Yes,
except
we
these
do.
two people in the world.
Well, my son Jordan does. He's still a big Flyers fan. So there might be 3 of us.
There's a lot of us.
So I'm going to do a little impromptu here. I'm going to kick Borgata Brett out, and somebody has no idea that they're coming over, but Brent Trumpauer is about to walk over here and sit down here for a minute and talk to me. This guy is one of the biggest players in the FFPC. He's not only a man of knowledge, he's very good at what he does. Buddy, come on in.
What's up, man?
Put the headset
How you
on.
doing?
Thanks for
How you
popping
doing?
in. Put it
Hi,
on.
Brent.
Talk close to the mic. And what's going on, buddy?
Feeling good, man. Just
That's not
finished up
talking
the
close
third
to the mic.
draft. Oh, my bad.
There we go.
Just finished up the third draft. Feeling pretty good about this one. Got the coveted 1 spot today, so
Very nice.
it's in the past not been my favorite spot to draft out of, but this year the way things are shaking out and that 2-3 turn is just gold.
You know what? I don't like drafting out of it either, but this guy in our draft, I thought nailed it today. He goes McCaffrey, Jefferson, Metcalf, Julio, Higgins, first 5 picks, and comes back with Sermon, who I absolutely love in round 6 today. What was your build today?
Very similar. McCaffrey, DK, Jefferson, first 3.
Beautiful.
And I went Deontay Johnson, Jacobs, and I paired Metcalf with Russell Wilson.
It's pretty good.
That is good, yeah.
It's good. Now, I think that some of these drafts out of the early slots were changed by these other players moving up.
Oh my goodness.
And you know, Amari Cooper now is pushing people.
He's a 2-1, 2-2 in some of these drafts I'm seeing today. It's ridiculous. I saw Gronk go to the 3rd round earlier.
Third
today.
round,
It's
Gronk went. We
insane.
saw it. I mean, what's your take on it? I mean, I tell you a story.
I don't buy into it.
I'm gonna tell you a story. Like 6 or 7 years ago, I'm out here, and Dallas played on Monday night, and a guy that you've never even heard of, named Kevin Ogletree, for Dallas, had 3 touchdowns on the opening game. He was not ever to be drafted, but that weekend he was drafted at the end of round 1 turn because of his 38 points or whatever he put up that night. And you see it all the
See it
time,
every
man.
year.
It's
Every year.
insane.
I love drafting the Thursday before the game and Friday after the game, and
Right.
just seeing and I take advantage. I take advantage of it.
Right, you can. I mean, and now, where did Zeke go in your draft?
He went 2nd round.
Okay.
He dropped.
I saw some
Mike
third
Evans
round
kept
boards.
dropping,
I
too.
saw some third round boards. He went in the middle of our second. I mean, that's
2-11, so it was late. But
that's great value, but you know, you can't start him. You better have, you know, other plans
Oh,
because
yeah.
you know, as we all know in FFPC, you can't tank a week. You know, you can't afford to lose a week when you don't need to lose a week.
I saw a few guys specifically targeting, Godwin's, Cooper's, Dak, trying to just build that roster. Just start off 1-0. Just grab them when you can.
Try to
start off one
just
week
try
ahead.
to get a win.
Yeah.
And you know, like the Gronk thing. See, my problem with the Gronk thing is I've drafted a ton of him. Okay, a ton of them this year between rounds 9 and 11. Okay, because I think, you know, with him knowing the offense, he's healthy. He looks great, man. And, you know, 3rd round's a little much for me, but I can almost justify his 35 points or whatever last night in maybe a 5th, 6th round selection.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you have a starting tight end there. You know,
He's a 5, 6
who's
tight
to
end.
say that he's not going to score more points this year than Noah Fant that goes in the 5th round?
Correct.
So I can see it, but to reach into like the 3rd round, something like that, you know, that it was a lot for me to watch.
There is a difference going when you're talking about a mid-round pick who bumps up. A couple
Grant, what's the
rounds,
rule here?
It's not that big of a deal.
Close to the microphone. Yeah, it's not a mid-round pick, but 3rd round, you know, you're passing on big players. and,
Exactly.
you know, it was funny today, and Lamb in our draft, he went middle of the 3rd round. He's been going 2nd round every draft I've done the whole year. Somehow he slips into the middle of the 3rd round this year.
I haven't seen him go that low. He's been in the 2nd round pretty consistently.
I know that, and it was a little surprising to me. He right
Yeah, there
here.
you go.
At 3-6, Lamb went today.
Where'd Cooper go?
Cooper went in my draft.
Right there, second.
He went 2-9.
It's a challenging question.
2-9.
2-9.
Okay, but and the guy with Cooper came right back in the third round with who? AB.
Oh
AB. Now I'm not taking AB in the third round.
No.
Okay, I'm just not doing it. I mean, you look at what this guy passed on. You know, he passed on Lamb, Allen Robinson, McLaurin. I mean,
So he's playing for the points, the week win-win.
Yeah.
well, yeah, he's playing for the points, but long term, you know, I don't believe they hand out many
You
trophies
can't-
in week
no,
one, do they?
No, you can't do that. And I play for the end of the season. I don't play
Right.
for the beginning. And
Right.
a win in week 1 is just as good as a win in week 2 or week 3.
Right.
And I get you want to grab a couple extra points at the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah.
And like we talked about earlier, a mid-round pick, you move up a little bit, cool. But you can't be jumping over proven guys.
Big time
like
proven
McLaurin
guys.
And, you know, to
Robinson,
grab a
right. Robert Woods,
A-Rob,
you know.
to grab a Antonio Brown over there.
Right, you look at the end of the year, Robert Woods is going to have more points than Antonio Brown.
Yes.
Probably. I mean,
Probably.
the last time Antonio Brown played a full season, he was probably a top 3, top 4 fantasy guy a couple years
Yeah.
ago. But
Yeah, I mean, I
Couple
want to say
years
4 years ago, he was the 101 out here.
you also could compete in this against people who drafted weeks ago, where Antonio Brown was going in the 9th round. Or something.
Yeah.
So, the main event right after week 12, you go into a big pool. So people who drafted, they got maybe Cooper in the 3rd, and then they get Antonio Brown in the 7th. They have a leg up on somebody who's usually in their 3rd round.
There's
pick.
no doubt. I looked in on my 100 Dynasty teams, I have about 15 shares of AB, and I was pretty happy that I put him in the lineup. But when you're drafted and you're playing against the best players in the world out here, supposedly, although I saw some donkeys sitting at my table a couple times, but sorry, I'm not allowed to say the word donkey.
It's just funny.
Well, yeah, well, it is, and that's funny. So,
Can we edit this?
no, we're not editing anything.
So I got
Okay.
a question for you real quick.
Yeah.
So you touched on Dynasty.
Yeah,
Do you find it difficult when you draft
Yeah.
so many Dynasty teams
Yeah.
to roll into a redraft
Yeah.
and not be reaching for those younger guys who aren't necessarily getting ready to step
so
up?
that is a really cool question. So the answer is yes, but what I have seen, the league winners and the teams who won their leagues last year, the people that took Jefferson in the 11th round won their leagues last year. So I'm always thinking, is Terrace Marshall, I grabbed him in the 12th round here, is that the guy where you're getting first, second round value in the 13th round, and that's going to make you win, right? That's going to put you over the top. So you gotta take some of those guys.
Yeah, because by then what you're doing is you're drafting bench players by the time you get to a guy like Terrace Marshall anyway. So
Yes.
what you're looking for is the potential
Upside.
opportunity, that upside of if something happens to Robbie Anderson or DJ Moore, he's
Right.
going to slide right in, and then he's going to take over that share with no problem.
I
Right.
think that's an advantage that Dynasty guys have is compared to the season long.
Right.
You come in, we've been drafting these guys, researching them all summer.
Right.
Yes.
So you know.
It is. That is a huge advantage to us. But I thought you were going to go with the question, because me and Rick have had this conversation, and me and Heather, that it's really difficult to go and start doing our scouting and Dynasty and go from February until June just drafting Dynasty and then to switch over to redraft. It's really hard, man.
It is. I have to filter in, so I'll do some of the early main events or the FBC drafts that come out just to start to see how
The $35
things-
best balls,
yeah.
right?
Just to see how things shake out
Right.
a little differently, and because there are some huge differences, and it's like anything else. Though you pay attention to it, you look at it, you can pick up on it. I mean, anybody that's doing this knows
It
what
is.
they're doing.
Heather, what's your transition from Dynasty to redrafts? Hard?
Every year it gets easier.
Well,
It does.
it does. I think it does, and I think, being the professional that you are,
Yeah.
she can't. Well, we just got our producer, or the head of cocktail hour. I just got the call
Wrap it
from
up.
the left-hander that my
Wrap it up.
time is up. Here. So, Brent, thanks for stopping by,
No
my
problem.
brother.
Thank you guys
I'm
very
sorry I
much.
didn't see your
Brent.
text until 6 in the morning when I came in today. So I will respond to your text now when we're off camera.
It's not a problem. It's not a problem.
So-
You guys take care and good luck.
Thanks,
Brett.
buddy. So that's it. We're wrapping up. So somebody told me that due to the weather, tomorrow's show cannot happen. Is that true?
Yes.
Right, because of the leak in Planet Hollywood that's coming down on our table to be expected tomorrow. We're going to have to pass on tomorrow's show because honestly, I don't have a whole lot more to say, and I don't know if I can look at Heather struggling like this on camera for another 30 minutes. Rick, rarely is there a show that you say
Wake
more
'em
than
up.
Heather.
Wake them up.
Right. Look at these two. I mean,
I'm like,
comatose over here, dude. So, for
we should have done
Fantasy
the show
Heather,
last night.
for Ruthless Rick Taylor, we're going to wrap up today. This was Dynasty Depot Live Main Event Edition. We'll be seeing you soon. Dynasty Depot
Huh?
will be back. Our marketplace opens in January because we've gotten about 100 emails. How come there's no teams for sale? Right now, our leaderboard began last night. Is that correct, Rick?
Leaderboards are up. Yep.
Did you check that and see if they are operational?
The teams are on there. Yep.
The teams are on the leaderboard, so we're going to be tracking the leaderboard. We'll do a leaderboard show in about a month. We will get live the leaders in the 4 divisions on the leaderboard. We'll be doing a show, bringing them in, how they're doing, playing for main event seats for next year, $2,000 that we're just giving away. That's what we do, and it's pretty exciting. So we're going leaderboard. The Dynasty Depot Marketplace will reopen in January as soon as week 17 concludes. Okay, once the playoffs are done, then we can start posting up new teams. Remember, if you drop your membership, Rick, in Dynasty Depot, your teams will not be on the leaderboard. They will disappear. Don't email me because I just said that.
Yep, that's it. You got to keep membership active through the year.
For Fantasy Heather, for Ruthless Rick Taylor, I'm Nelson Verba. We will see you very soon. Peace.
See you guys.
You've been listening to the Dynasty Depot podcast, the best source for what's hot in Dynasty Fantasy Football team action. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at the Dynasty Depot. And listeners get a 30-day free rookie membership. Go to dynastydepot.com and use promo code PODCAST. Dynasty Depot. Bid, buy, sell, dominate.